Welcome to the very first episode of Creative Compass, where we explore, how art and storytelling can be used to solve real-world problems.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how one person in particular,
Right.
Jean-Dominique Lavoix-Carli,
Yes.
a multi-talented artist and innovator, uses his diverse skills to tackle all sorts of challenges.
That's right.
From art direction and illustration to world design for comics and even gamification.
Yeah. His work is fascinating.
His work is all about blending creativity with practical solutions.
And that's what we're going to be looking at today. This idea that problem solving can be creative.
Exactly.
And that creativity can lead to solutions.
Yes.
What's so interesting about Lavoix-Carli is that he's not just an artist.
Right.
He's a creative problem solver. And we're going to see that firsthand in this deep dive.
Yes.
As we explore his participation in a recent French Defense Forum hackathon.
Oh, yeah. A hackathon.
Yeah.
Organized by the French army.
That's right.
No less.
Can you picture it?
Yeah.
You're in a room full of brilliant minds.
Absolutely.
The clock is ticking,
Mm-hmm.
and the challenge is to come up with a game-changing solution to a real-world problem.
Real-world problem.
And in this particular hackathon, the challenge was a doozy.
It was.
How to reduce the energy consumption needed for aircraft takeoff.
That's it.
They were basically asking these teams to rethink the way
Free think. Yeah.
that planes get off the ground.
Yeah. The fundamentals of flight.
Talk about high stakes.
High stakes indeed.
Not only were they working under an incredibly tight deadline,
Yeah.
only 9 hours,
9 hours.
but they were also being judged by a panel
Right.
of high-ranking officers and innovation specialists from the French Air Force.
Yeah. I mean, the pressure must have been intense, but here's the thing.
Okay.
Despite the pressure,
Okay.
Lavoix-Carli describes the atmosphere as incredibly collaborative.
Oh, wow.
So you have these two teams,
Okay.
orange and green,
Okay.
each with a mix of designers.
Engineers, mathematicians, and even specialists in nanotechnology,
Wow.
all working together towards a common goal.
That's fantastic.
It is.
That's a really good sign.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it speaks to the power of collaboration.
okay, so Lavoix-Carli was on Team Orange,
He was.
and they came up with a truly ingenious concept
Yes, they did.
called the acceleration hub.
The acceleration hub.
Now, keep in mind that some of the details are confidential,
For security reasons.
right, for security reasons, but what we can share
Yeah.
is that this concept involves rethinking the entire airport infrastructure to optimize takeoff.
Right. So they're looking at the big picture.
They are.
Not just the plane itself,
Okay.
but the whole system.
Yeah.
Think about it. Instead of having planes scattered all over the airport,
Right.
wasting fuel while taxiing and idling,
Yeah.
what if everything was concentrated in one central hub?
Okay.
That's the core idea
I see.
behind their concept.
Very interesting.
It is.
Okay, and they didn't stop there?
No, they didn't.
They envisioned a system of elevators
Right.
that would transport planes to a vertical parking structure,
Yeah.
almost like a high-tech parking garage.
Exactly.
Really?
A parking garage for planes.
Wow.
Um.
That's wild.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right?
It does?
I mean, you're using vertical space
yeah.
instead of sprawling out horizontally, which is often what you see
Right.
at airports.
Yeah, very inefficient.
Very inefficient.
Okay, so from there, the planes would be moved onto a rotating platform.
That's right.
Okay, that would align them with a designated launch ramp.
Exactly.
And these launch ramps are where it gets really interesting.
This is the cool part.
They designed a system of downward sloping ramps,
Yes.
almost like ski jumps,
Like ski jumps.
that would allow the planes to accumulate kinetic energy
Through gravity.
through gravity
And before.
using their engines for takeoff.
Exactly.
It's a brilliant combination of physics and design.
It really is.
So you're using gravity to assist with takeoff. That's right.
Which reduces the amount of fuel.
You're essentially getting a free boost
Yes.
from gravity.
Wow. This is incredible stuff.
It is.
And so this approach not only reduces the energy needed for takeoff,
Right.
but it also minimizes taxiing time
That's right.
and the associated fuel burn.
Exactly.
So it's a
a
win-win
win-win for efficiency and the environment.
for both efficiency and the
Yeah,
environment.
it's a great example of how Lavoix-Carli's artistic background
Right.
informs his approach to problem solving.
I see that.
He's not just thinking about the technical aspects.
Okay.
He's also considering the aesthetics
Okay.
that user experience the overall flow of the system.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, he's got that holistic view.
He does.
Which is what you need
Yes.
when you're tackling complex problems.
Yes, and it's this blend of art and engineering that makes his work so unique and so effective.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we've seen how he's applied these principles
Yes.
to this very specific challenge of aircraft takeoff.
Right.
But his work goes far beyond that.
Okay.
And in the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to explore
Right.
how these ideas connect to his broader portfolio.
Okay.
And we'll uncover the creative compass that guides his diverse and fascinating career.
I'm very excited to hear about that.
Me too.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment
Sounds good.
to continue our deep dive into the world of Jean-Dominique Lavoix-Carli.
All right. What strikes me about this acceleration hub concept is how it reflects this recurring theme in Lavoix-Carli's work.
Yeah.
This idea of maximizing efficiency through clever design and a deep understanding of systems.
It's like he's always looking for those hidden connections, those opportunities to optimize and streamline.
Exactly. And we see this in his illustrations, his world design for comics, even his work in gamification.
Right.
There's always this underlying focus on creating seamless experiences, whether it's guiding a reader's eye through a comic panel or motivating players to engage with a game.
It's not just about making things look pretty.
It's about understanding how design can influence behavior, how it can make complex processes more intuitive and user-friendly.
Precisely, and that's what makes his approach so relevant to today's world. We're facing all sorts of complex challenges, from climate change to resource scarcity, and we need creative thinkers
Right.
who can design systems that are both effective and sustainable.
And that's where someone like Lavoix-Carli comes in.
Absolutely.
Let's go back to the hackathon for a moment. You mentioned the Team Orange wasn't the only team to impress the judges.
Right.
Tell us about Team Green's solution.
Oh, yeah. Team Green, they took a different approach, focusing on a removable and reusable booster thruster powered by hydrogen.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But isn't hydrogen notoriously difficult to store and transport safely? What about the cost?
Those are valid concerns, and they're exactly the kinds of challenges that would need to be addressed if this concept were to be implemented in the real world. But what's exciting about their idea is this focus on sustainability and resource reuse.
It aligns with those circular economy principles we hear so much about these days, right?
Exactly.
Can you remind us what that means?
Absolutely. A circular economy is all about designing out waste and pollution, keeping products and materials in use for as long as possible, and regenerating natural systems.
Okay.
It's about moving away from the traditional take, make, dispose model and embracing a more sustainable approach to production and consumption.
So Team Green's concept fits right into that framework.
It does.
By using a clean and renewable energy source and designing a booster that can be reused multiple times.
Exactly. It's a great example of how innovative thinking can lead to more sustainable solutions, even in industries that are traditionally associated with high energy consumption.
Now, we've heard about these two amazing concepts from the hackathon.
We have.
But what are the chances of these ideas actually taking flight, so to speak? Could we see these innovations being implemented in real airports someday?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to have a brilliant idea on paper,
Right.
but it's another to make it a reality.
Of course, what kind of hurdles do you think they would need to overcome to bring these concepts to life?
Well, you got the obvious technical challenges, right?
Yeah.
Can these designs be scaled up?
Right.
Are they cost effective?
Mhm.
Then you have the logistical and regulatory hurdles to think about.
So you're talking about getting buy-in from the industry.
Yeah.
Navigating all the safety regulations.
Exactly. And sometimes I think the biggest challenge is the mindset.
Okay.
It can be really hard to break free from the status quo and convince people that there's a better way of doing things.
It's not just about the technology itself. It's about overcoming inertia and challenging those ingrained assumptions.
Precisely. But, you know, the fact that the French army is hosting these hackathons in the first place suggests that there's a real appetite for innovation.
I see what you mean.
They're actively seeking out new ideas, and that's encouraging.
It really is. It shows a willingness to think outside the box, especially when it comes to critical issues like energy consumption.
And remember, both teams won this hackathon.
That's right.
The judges were clearly impressed by the creativity and ingenuity on display. Who knows, maybe one day we'll be boarding planes that launch using these innovative concepts.
That's a fascinating thought. It really highlights the potential impact of this kind of creative problem solving. But even if these specific designs don't make it to the runway, what's important is the spirit of innovation they represent.
I completely agree. And for you listening, what I hope you take away from this deep dive into Jean-Dominique Lavoix-Carli's work is the power of combining art design thinking and technical expertise.
It's about breaking down those silos and realizing that creative solutions can come from anywhere.
Exactly. Whether you're an artist, an engineer, or just someone who wants to make a difference in the world, there's so much we can learn from his multidisciplinary approach.
Lavoix-Carli shows us that creative solutions can come from unexpected places by embracing different perspectives, collaborating with others, and daring to challenge the status quo. We can find new ways to tackle even the most complex problems.
That's a great way to put it.
So as we wrap up this first episode of Creative Compass, I want to leave you with this question. What creative spark lies within you? What problem are you passionate about solving? And how can you use your unique skills and perspectives to make a positive impact on the world?
That's something for all of us to think about.
It is. We've only just scratched the surface.
There's always more to explore, right?
That's the beauty of creativity. There's always something new to discover. So, if you're feeling inspired, we encourage you to check out Lavoix-Carli's work for yourself.
He's a true inspiration.
And that's a wrap on our very first episode of Creative Compass. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Jean-Dominique Lavoix-Carli.
Stay tuned for more explorations of art, story, and the creative minds that are shaping our future.
See you next time.